Right, if you're using R, I'm going to walk you through the first question in a Jurassic hack. That's control room. And I am going to use trinket. You don't have to use trinket. You might be more comfortable using something like RStudio. That's absolutely fine. I'm just doing it because it's really easy for anybody who's starting just to write a few lines of code very, very quickly without installing anything or configuring. So if you go to trinket.io and you log in, I'm logged in using my Google account here. And I'm going to create a new trinket, and I'm just going to select R. And you should see this. And once you're there, you can start to write some code. And if you click play, it'll spit it out over here. Okay, right, let's go back to the question. So in this question, we're going to take a look at this input file, which has 10,000 integers. And essentially, all we have to do in this question is add up all of those integers to get our solution. Let's take a look at the input file. Here it is. Zoom in a bit. And there are 10,000. You have to trust me, but there's 10,000 3-digit numbers in here. So I'm going to select all of those, Control and A, or Command and A if you're using a Mac, and then Control and C. And I'm going to head over to my trinket. And I am going to get rid of this line. So keep that main art, but I'm going to add another file by clicking the little add button, and I'm going to call that input.txt, and I am going to paste everything I've got in there. Oh, okay, great. And I'm going to write a few lines of code. Now this is pretty straightforward to do. Let's call our first step step 1. And I'm going to comment throughout here as I go along. Step 1, read in the data. So so I'm going to create a variable called data, and I'm going to assign to that this function. So I like R because it's got a really simple function for handling files and data called scan. And it's a function, so I'm going to add an open bracket at the end of it. I'm going to call my file name input.txt. And I'm going to use a parameter here called what. Okay, now the what parameter will tell the scan function what data to look for. So I'm only really interested in integers. Okay, if I was interested in strings, I'd put strings. So I need to put that. I also need to put another parameter called quiet, and I'm going to set that equal to true. Now what this is going to do, if I don't have that, then I'm going to get an error every time I try and read some data which isn't an integer. So I want that to kind of handle that in the background without giving me any warnings. And I can show you what it'll look like if I do print data. I should now be able to print that out. There you go. So it's just printed out all of my my file. So you can see here the number in the brackets here is the row number, and it started at 9901. It's giving me 10 numbers, 10 rows, and then it's quoted the next one. I did that in R. Okay. Now I've just got to add all this stuff up. So that's really easy to do. I'm just going to print the sum of data. Oops. And that should spit out my number. There you go, 5499601. And as a sanity check here, if I look at my last 3 digits and go back to the question, I can see that my last 3 digits are 601. So I'm pretty sure I'm correct. So if you take that answer and stick it into the console in the room, wherever that is, or better still, combine your answer by adding it to somebody else's value here to get another value which you can put into the console, you can both get the points for that. In fact, you can do that for up to 5 people. One last thing before you do move on, please just tell me how it's going. I'm quite keen to track your experience as you go along here. Just a single click will do. If you want to leave some feedback for this problem, then please do. Okay.